All right. I just started the recording now. I just realized. So, okay. Can you see us, Carolyn?
Display options
I can see you, Ann. Yes.
Okay. So we're going to start the meeting actually now. We already actually started it, and all we did was approve the minutes of the 12/21/21 meeting.
I mean, it looks like this would be a gallery view if they were displaying their video.
Well,
I think you might want to do full screen. Let's go to the dots.
Large.
Enter full screen up 2 levels.
Oh, there.
There you go.
Okay. I'm still a little thing in the corner.
Well, that's
fine. That's me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
You may want to aim this up a little bit.
Oh, okay. Thank you, dear.
We're recording now, and I'm going to start the meeting. This is the Landis committee meeting, and I'd like to everybody introduce themselves. My name is Ann Mazar, and I'm the chair of the committee.
And Peter Coffin.
And Peter represents the Conservation Commission. And Barry, could you introduce yourself again?
Barry Idarola, Planning Board Representative.
Frank.
And Frank Neer, Land Use Committee member.
I'm sorry, Barry, were you saying that you're the Planning Board representative?
Yes.
Okay. And then Carolyn?
I'm Carolyn Barthel, and I have been voted in as the alternate member, and I haven't finished qualifying with my tests and everything yet, my ethics test. So
yeah,
I'm not official entirely yet.
Were you sworn in by the town clerk?
Yeah, I haven't done that. Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
Haven't done that. Okay. So what we were talking about is the MVP project, which is the Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness Program. We got a grant to re-landscape the town hall and use low-impact development and green storm water infrastructure. And so it's moving along really nicely. We're working with Parsley Witten Group. And we printed a sign to put out in front of the town hall, because just to let people know what's going on, because right now, like, asphalt's ripped up, the old police station is still there, and the town hall needs to be painted, and people kind of wonder what's going on. So this is to sort of let people know what's happening. And I'm going to try to share my screen to show you the sign that we made. Screen show. Sorry, this is new for me.
Your screen.
Yeah, do you know how to?
Some of the options. Buttons on the bottom and buttons at the top.
I know it's I had to do it on my share content. Okay.
Now it's going to happen. Great.
Something's there. Okay.
Well, that's your screensaver, right?
Right.
Yeah.
At this.
Well, you got to open up what you want people to share.
It's open and it's on my screen, but all right.
Check out.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how to get it on here.
So there's going to be a sign, an educational sign, kind of saying what it is that they're seeing in 2-3 sentences or less.
No, it's actually it's like a 3x3 sign, and says Town Hall Campus Restoration Project, and then it talks about the grant and what we're trying to do, and it actually has a rendering of what we're going to do. So it's like a green picture And then it says for more information, they can email the land use committee or it's a suggestion, town clerk's office. And it's just, and it also, it's a little educational. It explains what low impact development is and what green stormwater infrastructure is. Passing by, like as you're driving, you would just see restoration project and you'd see green. So you kind of know something's happening, but then but want to learn more, they'd have to come up to town hall and get close. So
Ed, I'm sorry, I'm not up on this grant. So this is a self-standing grant that now that this project has been done, this is going to pay for improvements, landscaping improvements above, and Horsley and Witten is going to be designing it, and who's going to be actually doing the work?
well, that is the next stage of the project that would happen in year 2. This is year 1, putting the design together.
Okay.
And that's what the grant is for. And it's pretty complicated because there's a lot of underground infrastructure and there's a new well being put in, pipes need to be replaced, electrical, all that is under there. And plus it's all the stormwater and ranging how the layout is here. So it's more pedestrian friendly.
I guess the meat of my question is who's running the show? What kind of project manager? And I'm sure there was a project manager on the part of the town when they built it. And so who's staff in town? Whose job is it to make sure that everything goes smooth?
So me, project coordinator.
Okay.
Yeah, I submitted the grant, but then the fire chief, the town administrator, Dan Byer, he's facilities. And
So they've been in it from the beginning, so they know what's coming. No one's going.
well, we're all working together. Alan Tatro's been involved. And then, the Firstly Witten group, we have, we've all been working together. And right now they'll have a plan that's like 25%. Called a 25% plan. So it's sort of like
The general teams.
Yeah.
So then how much, it's a 2-year grant, how much did we get? And what's the budget for year 1 and what's?
$160,000 for year 1.
How much?
170,000.
Okay,
So
thank
it's
you.
a good grant. And that's gonna entail the whole design and then doing the bidding and then hiring the contractor to do the work in year 2.
Okay, so Horsley and Witten is going to be in charge of kind of hiring and getting the contract.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
And designing it so that we know what to put in the RFP. And I don't know how to get rid of that.
Oh, that's a pretty shot anyways. So if it was, I'm sorry, if it was 100 odd for planning, how much for construction?
More than that.
I would hope.
But there is, well, I don't have it off the top of my head, but there's money that was set aside for the new police station. And then on Inman Hill, we sold a parcel, so there's some funding from there. And so there's funding to pay for the second part.
Okay.
So, so my question is, I would like to, I'd like to have the land use committee pay for the sign that's going in front, just to let them know about the projects, and it's $105. And we have the money in the land use committee.
I think it's money well spent. It's good education. And then the question is who's going to install it? But yes, that's
Dan Byer will.
Dan's the man, huh? Okay.
Sounds good to me. So this is $105 for the sign?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we're just installing it, and so it's a nice sign. It's really attractive. It's like 3 by 3, so, and it'll be out there for a year or 2, as we work on the project. So
I think we need to keep people informed. I think it's a good investment.
would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move the purchase a sign to explain the restoration project at the town hall.
Second.
Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Did you say Barry?
I said aye.
Okay, nice. Okay, great. The next item is, let's see, it's I don't really know how much we're going to talk about that tonight, but the Morrison Drive, the town owns land in Morrison Drive. And then there's also Milford Street property. That's on Route 16.
And could I ask you to not share your screen anymore, please?
I can't, I gotta wait a minute. Stop sharing. There.
Thank you.
Okay. Actually, I want to wait to talk about these until we have more information, so I'm just gonna move to the next item. Just an update on the surveying on open space properties that the town owns. The street property should be happening soon, and Peter Coffin is going to be sort of helping out with that. I mean, just seeing what they're doing and the mark where the borders are, and that should be happening soon. And I will let you know when that starts happening. And then once that's done, we'll put signs on the edge of the open space property so people know where their property is and the town's is. Morrison Drive, this is a property that connects with the Applewood open space. And so what we would like to do is have access to the Applewood open space through the town land. And the town is thinking of selling this Morrison Drive property. So we want to make sure we have access to the Applewood open space before they possibly sell it.
So your intent is that they would sell it, but you would have an easement off the land that they sell, or that you carve it off trail first?
Carve it off because it would go in conservation restriction. And so it would be part of the conservation restriction of the Applewood open space. And this is an open space subdivision where the easement to the open space is through someone's property. And we've changed the bylaw so this can't happen again. But it's just not a good situation. And so we want an access that the town that goes with the open space property. And also if they want to allow hunting on that property, it would have to be another access. So anyways, so that's why we're surveying the property to see where the borders are, because we're not really sure exactly what the borders are. And then the other property is Impel Hill Road. It's just along the back of people's properties, just so that we can have a visual boundary. And then we might also put signs there just so that we physically know where the boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, Carolyn, is that noise at your place?
Yeah. Yes. Ma'am, could you close the door, please? Thank you.
Okay, so Carolyn is the new member on the Landis committee, and one of the areas that she is interested in focusing on is the green energy aspect. And so we looked into doing some aggregation for the town, and we wanted to make it more green. And so Carolyn, do you want to just like a short background on what where we're at with that? I know it's
Well,
yeah.
we applied 2.5 years ago to the Department of Public Utilities, and about a year in, and you and I decided maybe we could follow up on it, and we had our state rep Brian Murray and our state senator Ryan Fatman send a letter to the DPU to kind of get a sense of where things stood. They did hear back from the DPU. I think the DPU at that point asked for some additional materials. The thing that's interesting about this is that we are not the only town that has been waiting for a very long time to have green aggregation approved by the DPU. There have been a total, up until December, end of December, there were about 20 towns who were looking to do green aggregation. 20 towns, and they were all just sitting in the DPU docket. We don't know why the DPU has not acted on them. But what was interesting was that at the end of December, on the last Friday of the month, the DPU approved 6 towns who have a broker called Good Energy, and these towns are moving forward. And they just had a meeting this afternoon. I know one of the people who lives in one of the towns and who's been working on this. And so we don't really quite know what we need to do to move things forward. But I do know on a larger picture that that the DPU has there's been a decision by ISO New England, which is the grid operator, to put in for a proposal to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission in DC that we kind of go slow on making conversions from gas use to renewables. And so they want to have they want to postpone for 2 years having more, they just want to have more, they want to keep on going with the gas and the fossil fuels and not using and not having a demand for renewables. So, you know, there are very large players that are acting on this, and we're not alone in our wanting to understand what's going on. But there are some people who are, you may have seen an article in the Boston Globe recently by Sabrina Shankman, who's a Boston Globe reporter, who was pointing out that ISO New England is interested in slow walking transferring to renewables. So people are starting to ask why, and because the climate change crisis is not slowing down at all, and so we need to keep rolling. So you know, I'm not quite sure exactly how that's going to play out, but I did talk with my friend who lives in Cohasset, which was one of the 6 towns that actually suddenly got approved at the end of December, and they met with their broker today, and their broker said they had actually, after they had been approved, they had actually been asked to take some compliance measures, which really surprised Good Energy, their broker, because usually it's the reverse. Usually you ask for compliance first, and then you then you give approval. So we don't really quite know what's happening here, but it is, you know, this is getting old. And, you know, it would be nice to be able to apply to actually, when you apply, to actually have the DPU response, but they haven't done that yet. And there's no explanation for why.
So the goal is to have the green aggregation for the town, and it would be an opt-out, but the price would be equivalent to what they would be paying for National Grid or better.
Yes.
And also there would be a lot of information letting people know that it's happening, you know, if it ever does happen. So Carolyn is trying to follow the process to see what's going on. Yeah. And so, I mean, I guess you'll just keep us updated then.
Yeah. Yeah. The way this whole green aggregation process works has you know, raises questions, you know, because this is not something that a town does every week. And I'm not quite sure exactly how this is going to play out, but I think that we just need to kind of keep moving forward, and we will see whether the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission rejects the ISO New England's proposal for 2 years. And if they reject it, and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission has a mandate, well, they are taking on as not only that are they responsible for providing cheap, the least expensive energy costs, but also to take into climate and environmental justice. And so there are a number of factors that could come into play that FERC could consider in their making a ruling against the ISO New England plan. So we'll see. I don't know if I can try to answer people's questions, but I'm not sure what the questions might be, and I'm hopefully will be able to answer them, but I can't promise. I may not have an answer.
Does anybody have any questions?
This is Frank. Is this a wait and see approach? Is there a deadline? Is there a contact? Or are we just waiting for a response?
This is, this is kind of a wait and see situation, I think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we could, if we wanted, we could again ask our state representative and state senator to send a letter saying, it's been 2.5 years now, and there have been some 6 other towns who have a broker called Good Energy, and they are willing to. They've been approved, but nobody else has. There are 14 other towns, and so we'd like to know what is there anything we can do here to make this happen faster? So we could do that again if we wanted. It's been a while, a year and a half.
I think a letter could be helpful. Kim gave you permission to contact like Colonial Power. Have you talked to them at all to find out anything?
No, I haven't. I felt that since I haven't finished becoming legitimate as a town member, that I didn't really think that I could do that.
Okay.
So I will do that before our next meeting.
What letters, think about letters to the legislature, legislators asking them what's happening.
A letter or a phone call if you want it, because they're the only one. DPW is not going to listen to anybody except them, if even them. So,
I mean, a phone call would be a good idea, I think.
and you don't talk to the guy himself; you talk to his administrative assistant, and let them write the letter.
So you're suggesting that our legislators make phone calls?
Yes, or they'll ask DPW. DPU is a state agency, right?
Yes.
So they would have more power asking a question than you would. So you should ask them to find out why DPU hasn't acted on the town's request. Get them riled up. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, we had them write us a letter like that a year and a half ago. And so I think it's reasonable to do it again.
Is that something to vote on?
You don't have to, but you can.
Does that sound like a good idea, Barry and Frank?
It's not a bad idea. I think that, if it's been over a year, I think that's pretty reasonable wait time. So yeah, I think we should rattle some cages.
Yeah, I would prefer to actually send a letter rather than call, because then they have to respond by letter, and then you have something in your hand to be able to understand where things stand. So I would prefer that to a phone call, that we ask them to make calls.
So you could say it's from the land use committee, you know,
Sure.
in meant to be.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I will craft a letter, Ann, and I'll have you look at it.
Does that sound good?
Is that a letter to State Rep Murray?
Yes, it would be.
Would it also be to Fabman?
Yes.
Could be both.
But yeah, all right, well, thank you, Carolyn, for doing that.
Sure.
The other item, Carolyn was the solar coach for Solarize Mass Plus, and enough people got solar that Mendon can receive the benefits of a 25K solar array for a nonprofit. And this program was with Mendon and Upton, and so right now we're talking with the schools to see if somehow they can use a system and benefit from it. And I've been talking with Jay Beyer, and apparently there are some students that have been wanting to add solar at the high school. And so, you know, maybe this will work out well where we work with them to have a system put there. So.
That sounds good. But the one question was when we had this conversation about where to put anything, it seemed as though all the roofs, at least on a couple of the school buildings, were old and needed to be replaced in the near future, but they weren't ready to be actually replaced. So were you thinking of some other location other than roofs?
Possibly. And then also, like Jay Beyer was saying, that, you know, if students are bringing it forward, it might give us more, you know, have the school board be more interested in like fixing a roof so that, you know, the solar could be put on there. But obviously replacing roofs that size of the schools is expensive, but I don't know if they could do one part of a roof or something. But so anyways, we're just kind of exploring that. But I mean, if somebody knew another nonprofit that could benefit from this and had a good roof, that's another option also. We like the school because it benefits both Mendon and Upton. And so that was sort of why we were going with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that using the school system is a good vehicle for both, for the project. And I think we need to have a conversation about the roofs to understand just how old they are and at what point would they be replaced.
They're old and they wouldn't be replaced. They need to be replaced soon, but it costs a lot of money. So it's not like in the budget right now.
Okay.
But so we're also looking at how much, if there's any space on the ground to do ground mount solar.
I like the ones, where is it?
They're too expensive now because of the cost of steel.
All right, okay.
Yeah, I know. I like the parking too. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'd be happy, Ann, to walk around with you to look at some locations if you want.
Okay. Yeah, I'll include you on the emails, like with the school and stuff. So.
Okay, great.
The last item on the agenda was just, I think we'd like to submit another Green Communities grant. And some of the things we're looking at, we've been working with Guardian Energy, and usually they make an evaluation of where we, you know, add energy efficiency. But one of the items is they give incentives to buy hybrid vehicles for like the police department, and the police need 2 new cars. And so I've been talking with Dave Kersey, seeing if that might be a possibility. So yeah, so that would be great because they would save some money, you know, getting the cars. And
How cars can be made hybrid? There's enough oomph in it, or
hybrids are just like regular cars.
they probably have a better acceleration.
Yeah, yeah, and they there's a certain car that they retrofit, and the Hopkinton police have the cars. And so I said to Dave, maybe you should talk with some of them and see what they think about the vehicles. And it's like I think it's like an SUV that they adapt and, or retrofit for the police.
I would think most any car that the police department is going to purchase is going to have to be retrofitted to their specifications anyway.
Right, yeah. So I guess there's a particular car that works really well.
Oh,
And so anyways, that's,
Just educate me real quickly. They're talking about putting up more and more of these chargers. Who pays for the electricity?
depends. I mean, sometimes you use a credit card to pay for it.
Okay.
If it's public, like the ones at town hall, we're paying for it. I mean, the electric car the town has is plugged in there most. So it
Could I,
depends.
if I had an electric car, could I come in and plug it into the town's?
Definitely, yep.
And no one's gonna complain and say, no, take it while,
No,
okay.
I mean, it's like the chicken and egg kind of thing. They want people to get electric cars, but there's not chargers, so they're
You
incentivizing
need to
people
get
to
charges out there, I
them.
understand, you need places. Okay,
And then the other thing we're looking at is the possibly middle school, seeing if there's anything that could be done there, and the town hall. So, you know, if find anything that would be appropriate.
are you talking about chargers?
No, for the green communities, the
Okay,
projects.
yeah.
And then I think the submittal is like April, and Bill McHenry isn't doing green communities anymore. So we're trying to pull Dan Byer in because he's sort of like facilities, but Dan does like a million things already. So I'll try to coordinate that.
Okay.
So that's really all I had. Does anybody have anything else?
Where do we stand with the remediation over there at I forget the name of it.
Alfonso's with the wall?
Yeah.
I don't know. Last I heard, a month or so ago, he had just taken it his own to do it the way he wanted to, and he had never submitted a plan to the Conservation Commission for our approval. And a month ago, I think we told her we're going to send him a letter. I'm not sure a letter ever went out, or maybe you know it.
Yeah, well, so the Conservation Commission has a new conservation agent, and she's great. Her name's Emily Petro. And I met with her and kind of gave her an update on some of these things. And said that a letter really needs to go to Alfonso, just to say, come in and talk to the Conservation Commission so we can see your plan. This is good, you're moving forward, but the deal was that he was going to put together a plan of what he was going to do, bring it to conservation. Conservation would say yes or would make changes, and then he would move forward. So hopefully, actually, at your next Conservation Commission meeting, you should just, make sure a letter does get it to him, because I think it's important to communicate with them.
The reason why I'm asking is because sooner or later they're going to be coming in front of the planning board with Muddy Brook, and we told them before Muddy Brook isn't going to go anywhere until he straightens out the mess over there.
Yeah. So
I want to be kept abreast of what's going on, because I'm not about to I'm not going to sit for a public hearing on a project, a second project, when he hasn't straightened out the first project.
Right, yeah, I mean, I think the Conservation Commission was waiting to hear from him, and then Patrice Murphy just happened to be working in the open space, or was it Patrice Murphy's? I think it was. And she said, he's taking the wall out. And so no one really knew that was happening. And so that's why I think the Conservation Commission needs to contact Alfonso and say, you need to come in and talk to us first. So that's where it stands right now.
So there was no agreement as to what was going to be done and how it was going to be done then.
There was a lot of discussion at the field, and yes, it seemed to me there was a consensus of how it was going to be done. I'm not sure if Alfonso agrees with that. And Damien kind of looked at me at the meeting and kind of said, Alfonso's going to do what he wants to do. And it's like, we can tell him no, but so I think he's done what he's going to do. And so we're just going to have to see whether it's good enough and whether neighbors whose land it is has complaints.
Well, I think a letter does need to go to him though, because there was a lot of things he needed to do. There was a fence, there's, he has to replant the hill with some native, grasses and plugs. And so I think communicating him and getting Mr. Alfonso to come in and talk with the conservation is probably the best step, you know? And yes, he does, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm hearing from you, Barry, he's not gonna get the road cleared until everything's done, taken care of, right? So we'll keep you in the loop.
He's been asking for extensions on his hearing. We haven't done any formal hearings on it yet. They had one that I wasn't there for because I was in a mandatory training class, which I have another one on the February 28th meeting this month. So as far as I know, nothing has been settled on Muddy Brook.
Yeah, I think at the last meeting, yeah, like you said, he asked for an extension because the planning board's, it's, you know, a steep site. And so either he has to get rid of some lots or do something else, and he doesn't want to get rid of the lots. So I think they're trying to re-engineer it. But anyways.
Well, like I said, I'm not gonna approve another subdivision when he hasn't straightened out the first one.
Sounds good to me. I mean, anything I find out, I will let you know, Barry.
All right. Just let me know if and when they do straighten it out,
Yep.
you know, because I was hoping it was done by now. I mean, this has been going on since the early fall. When it
Yep.
first came in front of us. You know,
Yeah.
he's had plenty of time to do it. I mean, it's just time, you know, I mean, the winter's the time of year to do that stuff.
Yeah, and also on that property, there's a window when he can do it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the Conservation Commission that has to,
Right.
go on it, you know, so. But
Yep. All right, that's all I got. If that's it, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
okay. Any discussion? Anything else? No? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Just the next meeting, I'm not gonna be here, and I don't think I'll be able to meet, so I don't know. We'll see when the next meeting will be. I'll email and we'll figure it out.
Yep.
But it might not be the second Tuesday of next month.
Okay.
But
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
I have. You seem very nice.
Yeah, she's also really interested in this stuff, the recording.